I think it's important to teach climate change so that students know what world they're growing up into.
Yeah, so I think, in California, obviously wildfires, the drought have predominated in terms of what students, and I think all of us are keenly aware of the effects of climate change. Many students, many of our, family members, friends were affected. And so I think people are only seeing how quickly these effects are coming and thus thinking more about what the next decades hold.
Now we're fighting climate change for ourselves next year and 10 years from now. And for my kids and my students, they're going to live in a totally different world. And what I tell them and everybody I talk to about this is that there's not a solved or not solved binary question. There is a how much worse will it get? And every step that we can take now to limit carbon emissions and make progress will put us on the track toward less bad. And that's really what we need because it'll be less bad for all of us who live through it. And the less bad it gets, the less long term backtracking has to be done to get back to good.
I think energetic gives students a sense of what is possible because they can actually see actions that people can take to build up clean energy, right? Or to make some changes to benefit the climate. So I think that can be very powerful for them. And if they imagine themselves in those roles, it's much less abstract, right? They actually can see things they do themselves. So it's a really dynamic way for them to see how a lot of these different, what felt more like abstract concepts and terms came together in a live scenario.
When students play the game, they get really invested in their success. They are excited whenever they make progress, or in the cases when a group actually reaches the target and makes it by 2035, they're rejoicing, they're jumping around. And when they don't, they're thinking about what went wrong, or they're begging to just finish up to play the last few years so they can get there. And they're excited about what can be done, but they're also more aware of what is holding it back beyond just, well, why wouldn't we just build it all right away?
So I had a student who missed the first day in which students were picking up the rules and just kind of getting acquainted with the game. And so she was kind of dropped in during the second time when her peers had a better sense of how the game worked. And so I think you kind of see this evolution in the way she was interacting with the game and her peers over just, it was about an hour of time. So very quickly, right, once she kind of picked up on the basics and she felt comfortable with her role, you could kind of see her getting more engaged, getting excited. And so she was one of the students who, when, I typically have my students take a 5 minute break halfway through the class, her group was kind of still playing when most of the students in the class had left for their break. And when I asked them if they want to take a break, they're like, nope, we want to keep playing. And then by the end of the class, she was so enthused by what she had learned and the experience she'd had is that she wanted to borrow the game to take it and play it with her family.
In the AP physics class, they voted after the AP exam to play the game and talk more about climate change. And one of my climate science students just came during his free period because he wanted to play it again.